Well, first up this morning, homework. A lot of kids hate it, and studies show they're getting more of it than ever. So how can parents keep their sanity, stop the nagging, and help kids develop strong study skills?
That's right. We invited two people to join us today to talk more about the homework blues. How much is too much? How parents can avoid those homework battles as well. As Sara Gagnon, she is a teacher at Horning Middle School in Waukesha, and David Van Handel is a child and family therapist who also writes for Metroparent Magazine. You saw him here recently.
What's up, guys?
Good to have you guys here.
Did you do your homework last night to prepare for this?
I sure did.
Stressed out. Totally
She has little notes. She's got her little cheat sheet. No.
I like it.
I think this is great. I think it's a big issue talking about homework, like how much is too much, how parents can handle it, what people should expect going into the school year. So let's talk about homework in general, what the purpose of it is. Why do we need homework at all, even to start?
Well, I just think that the purpose for homework is just an independent opportunity for kids to practice the skills at school.
Practice the things they've already learned in the classroom, right?
Yep.
You agree with that, Doc?
Yes, it helps teach discipline and focus and carry over what happens in the classroom. Yes.
But what's the problem with homework too? I mean, let's get to the because honestly, I've seen it tear families apart, and I've seen parents who sit for hours at the kitchen table every single night when school's in session. They dread the start of school.
Right, absolutely. Some children are either diagnosed or undiagnosed with learning issues, and for them, homework sometimes can be a nightmare. If parents don't understand that properly, or if teachers don't understand that, they heap it on, and the child will have a big difficulty with it. Parents will push, and it can create a lot of problems in the family.
Well, that's a good question. How much should parents be involved? I mean, as a teacher, do you expect that parents are going to be involved with the kids, helping them do their homework at night?
My advice is just to be more of a monitor.
Yeah.
Make sure that they are doing their homework, but also, I mean, from a teacher's perspective, we want parents to be a little bit more hands-off.
Really?
Yes, because we want to know what the kids can do independently. We want them to come back to school with questions and with confidence in certain areas, and they can walk in the classroom and say, I need help with this.
But don't you think most parents are going to be like, but it's got to be done right, and it's got to be done, and we got to make sure that it's perfect, they're going to get the A, and if they're not doing it themselves, I'm going to step in and do it for them.
Yeah,
it's kind of that tiger mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that parents feel like it's a reflection of them if their kids aren't doing well, but it is about that specific kid. We have to focus on the whole kid.
And would you say at almost every level, because I know you're middle school, but would you agree that grade school, middle school, high school, the children for the most part should be able to do their homework independently, regardless of their age? So if you're doing too much, you're involved too much, something's not right.
Absolutely. I think that it's the teacher's responsibility to prepare the kids during the day to do the homework independently at night.
Yeah.
And I want to get to something Tiff said about the tiger mom. Parents, I feel today, my parents were awesome parents, very involved. They did not ask a lot about homework. They were not involved in homework. Tiffany's either. I mean, we talked about this. But today, parents are. They want this success, and they you know, we go online to check our kids' grades, and like, how'd you do on that test? And let me see your assignment notebook.
Who does that, Molly? Molly does.
You know what? True confession, I've been that like check it daily kind of mom when my daughter was first in high school, because I was stressed. Like, now it matters.
Yeah.
And then it became such an issue
because of college.
Because of college. I'm really like self-monitoring myself now. I'm I'm kind of out, and I'm proud of myself because I helicoptered it for a while, and it was bad, and I created the problem.
Right. Well, anxiety begets anxiety at times, and if parents are helicoptering and if they're anxious, it's going to rub off on the children, and they're going to become anxious. And as you were saying, Molly, too much emphasis on bottom line, on grades, on performance, as opposed to helping children to develop a love of learning, develop creativity. It adds up.
But don't you think the best graded students tend to do better in other areas? We were talking about this morning, you know, thinking back on the kids even in my school, like, is it the kids who were the smartest that have been the most successful? We talked about this in the fact that maybe it's not necessarily the grades that matter as much, but the grades plus the social personality. So it wasn't always the valedictorian or the salutatorian, but it was the people in the top tier that are, in my school, some of the people who are the most successful. Do you think the grades matter that much? to you guys?
I think that it's one snapshot of the kid.
Yeah.
There's 4 quadrants to a kid as far as I'm concerned. When I look at a middle school student, I see an academic side, physical side, emotional, and social. And that's just one aspect that needs, you know, constant care and monitoring and development. But there's so many other sides like creativity, managing stress, to have, you know, really successful students.
Especially at that age.
Yeah.
There's so many emotional issues that start coming into play.
Absolutely.
You know, with puberty and different things in the middle school, you know, you probably have a lot of that you deal with.
Absolutely.
A lot of issues there.
Yeah, I have a friend, we always say B students rule the world, but I don't know if that's really true.
Only
but
B students say that.
That was funny.
A students rule the world.
But to that point, though, I feel like if you're not as obsessed about the bottom line as you said, maybe your emotional health and your physical well-being and your social side does have a chance to flourish a little bit more if you're not just so channel focused on the bottom line. Let's talk about how much is too much, and let's talk numbers, because I read an interesting study. It seems like there's more information about the fact that really the strongest case for homework doesn't start until high school. In other words, the grade school homework, even the middle school homework, that it's the effectiveness and how much better kids perform in school is not there until really high school in preparation for college. I read something that said kindergarten there should be no homework. That maybe stands to reason. First grade, and then it goes up in increments of 10 minutes. So first grade 0 to 10 minutes, second grade 0 to 20 minutes, and then you get to middle school up to 90 minutes, and high school up to 2 hours, which I still think is a lot of kids are involved in other things.
Yeah, especially with sports and theater and things like that.
Your thoughts on those numbers, just generally speaking?
Absolutely accurate. Definitely in grade school, you're going to have literacy and math homework all the time, and you need to give some attention to that. So kids are going to come home with some math practice skills, some worksheets and things like that. And then we always want to encourage kids to be lifelong readers. So they're going to have some time being spent on just doing some independent reading. And then that just increases throughout their schooling.
So obviously every district is different, every teacher is different, but in middle school, because you've done 6th, 7th, and 8th, you've done all those age and 5th, what do you think is appropriate for middle school? How much do you usually send your kids home with a night or on average a week?
I try and just encourage them to be independent readers. Being a reading and writing teacher, I would really like them to practice doing some reading for about 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
Either with parents or on their own.
So it's not necessarily something they have to come back with something written for you or whatnot. It's just that it's more of an encouragement factor.
Just because we have so much time. I have 100 minutes with my kids, and I try to use that every single second with them so that I can guide them.
And as a family therapist, what message would you give to parents who are sitting there going, yeah, they're talking about parents not being involved, but if I'm not involved, it's not going to get done. Or if I don't push and nag, this isn't going to happen. They're not going to succeed in school, and they're going to be a loser in life.
Well, as Aaron Rodgers said last year famously, RELAX, relax, take it easy. Children tend to adapt and grow at their pace, and if you push that pace too much, they're going to get stressed out.
And how can parents back out of it if they're already overly involved? I mean, there's some people who are overly involved in first grade.
Right. Well, that's what my job is about, is to help coach parents to, if they need to back off, to encourage them to do that. And if they need to push a little bit more, some parents are on the other end to encourage them to get more involved.
Is it ever appropriate for the parents to come and talk to the teacher and say, hey, you're giving too much?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
One thing I would just encourage parents to do is, if homework is ever interfering with their family development and just fun times and just hanging out together, it's time to talk to an instructor. And a really gentle way to do that is just to go to the instructor and say, you know what, this homework is kind of not working for our family right now. Is there any other skill or any other way they can practice the skills outside of school? And just remember that we're all on the same team.
Yeah.
School and home, we want the child to succeed and grow. And to be coming in with a problem-solving attitude rather than defensive is really helpful.
Yeah, I bet, because you're going in otherwise attacking, and nobody responds well to that.
Exactly.
So I think that's a great tip. Anything you want to? Oh, go ahead.
Who knew that Aaron Rodgers was talking about homework when he said that? Right?
Little did we know. Little did we know. I think this is great. Again, we can go to our Facebook page and sound off on our Facebook question about, is homework a good idea? We want to know what you think. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Really good conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.